All right, to watch this video for Monday, April 10th. Narrow range on Friday. It wasn't much action in the morning, but I did get my daily goal by 11:30 thanks to the teamwork in our chat room. And I spent the rest of the day, weather was beautiful, went down to Universal Studios with my wife and my daughter and my granddaughter. We had a fantastic day in the beautiful Florida weather. And that's the beauty of being a day trader. Not only can you be done by 11 or 11:30 every morning, you should be done by 11 or 11:30. That morning is you got to learn to trade the open, and that's the beauty of it. You get your money, and then you don't give any back because you walk away and do something fun. You remember, there is life past the trading screens, past the charts and all that. You got to go out and live life too. So. Going into Monday, we don't have any shock events in the SPY. It's just a narrow range, so we just go ahead and build a watch list like we always do. So HTGM is the first one. That made a move from 525 to 815 on Thursday. That's a huge move. Obviously, it made a huge move back here. Quiet inside day on Friday, so we're going to put that on watch, see if it does something for us on Monday. CNAT, we had this on bounce watch for a few days when it looked like this, and then I kind of took it off my radar. And Wayne in chat Friday afternoon, I was down playing around at Universal Studios. Wayne, my partner for that put together a trading course with me, hung out all day on Friday. And I looked at the chat logs and noticed that Wayne called CNAT over 570. This was the the early high, and it hit it again during lunch. And Wayne's idea was over 570 because you see that big volume spike on Thursday. That's Thursday's high was 574. So if this gets through Friday's early high, 571. When you hear me talk about stacked catalysts all the time, that was Wayne's idea. Was, hey, you've got another potential catalyst as a break of Thursday's high, just above the 570, right? 570, 575 becomes another catalyst, and it's a recent big mover. So they were stacked, and this is what happened. It popped. Wayne probably, if I know him, had to stop below this little flag. Probably close to 6 or 7 cents below his entry idea, right? So you broke the high of day, you broke Thursday's high, it flagged for a bit, and then ripped. And I did see the chat room logs, a lot of people celebrating and thanking Wayne for a nice Friday afternoon trade. So anyway, it goes back on watch because it closed really strong and it's up near recent highs. Just keep in mind that it's had a 2-day run, and Friday was a big day for that one, so it probably needs to consolidate for a while. But we'll start watching it already on Monday. CLNT looks like a lot of people would look at that and say, "Ooh, look at that nasty reversal," and that's true, or nasty topping tail. But when you go to a 2-day chart, it still started its rally from below 3, went through 10, and now is trading, in the 6s. So that's somewhere around a 50% retracement. I didn't do the math, but just looking at it from here to here, and now it's back down here. This one. Is worth watching, even though on the daily you've got that nasty topping tail. Maybe it needs to come in another day or two, but that is a great candidate for a big intraday mover. As a day trader, you should be looking at stocks that make these crazy moves and then try to find a nice setup, for a possible secondary move. I say this all the time. Apple doesn't do that, right? Apple doesn't move 50 to 60 to 70 to 100% in an hour or two. That's why my focus is on these lower priced stocks, because you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. All right, so SSKN had a huge move from its low. The chart's a little messed up because it did a reverse split, I think. I remember, yeah, you can see a reverse split there, 1 for 5. So that usually messes up the chart, and it makes it look a little weird. But on an intraday basis, we just concentrate on the fact that this went from 231 all the way up to 540 on an intraday basis before settling in at 332. Anytime you get a move like that, you want to keep that stock on watch too. You might get, what I like to see really is a narrow range, for the first hour or so, and then an upside break. If you have that on a chart, you can be one of the first in and then let the crowd chase and shorts cover and so on. All right, so it doesn't cost you anything to put these on charts. You just have to know how to enter them. A lot of times, I'll have 10 stocks on watch, and maybe one of them will give me a proper setup. So don't think that I'm looking to chase anything, and they've got to give me a proper intraday setup. Okay, along those same lines, CCCR, $1 to almost 280. Believe this is a low float Chinese stock. This one held up better than a lot of them. So we'll see if we get a red to green or something like that in CCCR. And I'll give you an example of a low float Chinese stock that ended up giving back a lot of its gains, but not before I was able to call this in chat. The low float China plays were moving, and this one had a nice move. And I saw that it popped. It kind of broke this resistance and then went up to 270, went right back down, then right back up. So I called this long in chat over to, I said 271, 255 stop, knowing that if it got back through here again, the last pop, the biggest volume pop, was 285. So I knew a 270 break might get it through 285. The daily chart told me it could go to 3, and it actually went to 333. And then on a second wave, even went higher than that. So already had a good chunk of money in the bank, and then this one put me over my daily goal of CHNR. This could be on watch. This isn't on my watch list for tomorrow, but it could be. But I've kind of chosen as the low float Chinese play that I want to watch CCCR because it closed stronger. But any of them could be on watch that made those big moves on Friday. Okay, CETC, another example of a huge move. Had a huge move back here. Maybe a red to green in that one. CYCC, crazy move from 350-ish to almost 11, and now we're 3 days lower. Kind of a narrow range on Friday. Getting to the point where I want to watch that for a potential turn back up. BNTC, red day on Friday, but had a nice move back here. Again, you notice a theme. I'm just watching the recent crazy movers to see if I can get any kind of clean setup in them. SCON had the gap up, sold off, then a gap down, and then, you did 2 days, it closed about at the same spot. So I want to watch that one. DELT, I believe this is also a Chinese stock. Huge pop here, nice one here, and then really coiled, right? And then trying to break out on Friday. We'll see if that one can continue on Monday. And then lastly, I have RVLT, which had a gap up on nice news on Thursday, sold off, and then Friday breaks out. Sometimes you see that. You watch the stock on news and nothing, and then the next day it rips. I should have had this on watch for Friday, and I didn't. Glance at the weekly real quick. Yeah, so if you look at the weekly chart, this thing is interesting. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that this closed at its highs on Friday. Looking at the chart, certainly over this was 840 high right here. I mean, this thing is poised to go higher. We'll see if it gives any kind of low risk setup. I like the strong close on Friday. All right, we're going to add some potential gap plays in the morning on Monday too. And between all this list and some of the potential gap and go plays, we should be set for the day. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see everybody on Monday.